Welcome back to Excel class for data analysis, and welcome to the day 3 of the AI in every city. I hope the class has been going well and you have been able to gain one or two things since we started this class. So, like we do all the time without wasting much time, let's go straight into what we have for us today. And I believe that you're also warmed up to take part in this. So let me just get my slide and share my screen. Okay. Yeah, so yes, on the first day we introduced ourselves to Microsoft Excel and we talked about what we can do with Microsoft Excel. We looked at the best practice to load data into Excel and how to visually explore our data. Yesterday we looked at Excel functions and formulas. We looked at the various functions and formulas that we have in Excel. We looked at cell referencing, the different types of cell referencing that we have and how we can apply them. We looked at um, we looked at pivot tables yesterday, which is like one of the most advanced, which is one of the most useful features to know when you are using Microsoft Excel. Pivot table, one of the most useful features to know. So also I would like to say this that the the only verification of knowledge is when you practice it. Yes, that's the only way you can verify that yes, you have already acquired a particular knowledge is when you practice it. So you can put all these things that we have talked about that you have learned over the days into practice, just to be sure that yes, you've gained something and you are retaining it, it's not going anywhere. As you can see on my screen today, we are moving forward. We are looking at data visualization and chart creation in Microsoft Excel. Yeah, when we have our data sets, most of the times, if it is clean, it comes in rows and columns. If it needs cleaning, it comes in raw text format, whereby we have to separate it into rows and columns. We can use text splits and the likes. So, well, not everybody is technical enough or is patient enough, let me just say, has the luxury of time to start scrolling through the entire tables and to start looking for data with if you're looking for one particular information with control F or let's say control G. So data visualization is a way to like make our data easy to understand, easy to use, like an instant way of presenting our data such that once I see it, I understand what the data is saying. So if I see a visualization about products and their performance, I can easily understand the data if it is visualized in a chart under like 5 seconds to 30 seconds. Unlike when I have a table, I will need to scroll, verify, check, etc. like that. So that is why data visualization is important. And to visualize our data, we often create charts. That is why you see the two of them together, data visualization and chart creation. So what are we going to learn from this lesson? You learn how to visualize data effectively using conditional formatting, create various charts in Excel, and understand the best practices for data visualization. So you should anticipate to learn about conditional formatting, creating charts in Excel. You are going to be doing hands-on on creating charts in Excel, editing and formatting charts in Microsoft Excel, how to edit a chart, how to format a chart to make it look like what you really want it to look like. Yes. Then we also look at the do's and the don'ts of chart creation in Excel. Visualizing data using conditional formatting. So when we were talking about the interface of Microsoft Excel on the first day, and we looked under data, yes, there is a group that is called formatting. Yeah. And under it, we see conditional formatting. And I told us that we are coming back to it to look at it in a detailed way. And here we are looking at conditional formatting in detail. So what is conditional formatting and how do we use it? Conditional formatting simply means that we are formatting a particular cell based on a particular condition. That's just what it means. So we have predefined condition. We also have a condition that you can define on your own. By predefined condition, it means that Excel has already helped us to say here are some conditions you can click from. Say for instance, if this cell is not a number, we can format it with a particular indicator. We can format it in a particular style. Yeah, we can format it in a particular style and say, okay, if this cell is not a number, we can use a style to format it. If this cell is greater than 10, we can use a style to format it. That's all we mean by conditional formatting, because we attach a condition to a cell and we say if this condition is met, do this. If this condition is not met, do this. That is conditional formatting in simple terms. So when conditional formatting, what does it allow us to do? It allows us to apply formatting rules, like I've said, to cell or range of cell based on specific rules or criteria in Excel. This rule automatically change the appearance of the cell. So based on a particular rule that we have placed on the cell, if we input the data into that cell and based on the styling or formatting that we have specified, it automatically change the appearance of the cell. So the aim is to visualize certain aspects of the data, making it easier to analyze and interpret. Yes, making it easier to analyze and interpret. Conditional formatting can be used, one, highlight important trend and pattern by applying different color, fonts, or patterns to the cell based on their value. Yes, we can use it to highlight trend and patterns. Let's say we have a data on rainfall and want to see places where rainfall are extreme. So that is like a pattern movement. We can use conditional formatting to see a pattern movement. So if we see, let's say our rainfall data cut across like 10 years, and we want to see, we have volume of rain, so we want to see dates, or let's say we want to see period where rainfall goes to the extreme value, yes. And then once we click on the volume of rainfall and we apply a conditional formatting that if this rainfall is above 220 centimeter cube, then we say, okay, it is extreme. If we highlight that data, we can also use conditional formatting to highlight the date such that it will we will be able to see that, okay, in this particular month of this year, there is high rainfall or there is extreme rainfall. Then if we see it repeatedly across the years for the 10 years, then we can see that, so it means that every August there is always extreme rainfall. That is like highlighting pattern, and conditional formatting can help us to do this. So it can instantly draw attention to outliers. Outliers are data points beyond the that are beyond the recognized variance. Let me say they are data points that are far from from the common ones. For instance, outlier can be illustrated as, say you have a class of, let's say, GSS1 students, and the average age in your class is 11 years old. And then an outlier is going to be a person that is like 19 years old, because, or somebody that is like 6 years old, because the average age is 11, meaning that you're expecting learners in your class to be around 10, 11, 12. So if you're having somebody that is shooting more, in fact, further than the average, then that's like an outlier. So it can easily help us to identify outlier in our data. We can use it to highlight errors. We can. So another use of conditional formatting is we can use it to compare and contrast data points. We can use conditional formatting to compare top or bottom values. Yes, we can use it to look at, oh, what is the difference between the top highest value and the lowest value, and how are data moving? Is it that it is, how is this tipped, or how is the slope looking like? Is it that this, let me say the highest value in my data is 2000 and the lowest value in my data is 100, and I want to see how it is decreasing. Is it decreasing gradually, or is there a jump between this my data points? So I can easily use conditional formatting to note that based on the steepness when I style it. So we will be able to see some of these things that I'm explaining when we go to our Excel interface. So conditional formatting, another use is create visual representation of complex data by using color scale, data bar, icon sets. You can show the relative difference in data. Yes, conditional formatting also allow us to use icons to represent data. So if I specify a column as location, I can use conditional formatting to add location icon before the name of that place. So let me say I have something like I have something like name of places, and then there are different names of places. So I can actually use conditional formatting to say in this column, put a map icon before the name of the place, and then conditional formatting allows me to do that. So I can visually represent my data so that anybody that is even looking at it will know that if I say London, then I mean London as a place. How to apply conditional formatting. So this is a step-by-step guide to apply conditional formatting. If you have your Excel interface opened, on the home tab, you select the range of data that you want to format. Yes, that you want to style or you want to format. Then you can go to the home tab, click on conditional formatting in the ribbon. You see it here, something like this, conditional formatting. Then we can see that, oh, there are already some predefined rules for us. So choose your formatting rules. So here it's saying highlight cell rule. So another one is top to bottom rule. Another one is data bar. So if you click any of this, you have more rules. For instance, look at this top to bottom rule. Say, okay, top 10 items. You want to style the top 10 items. You want to style the top 10 percentage of your data. You want to style the bottom 10 items, the bottom 10 percentage. You want to style with maybe average. Oh, these people are below average, these people are above average. Let's say maybe you are preparing a report sheet and you want to color every person that scored below average. You want to color them with, let's say, red, or another, let's say another color that is to just indicate that they are below average. So you can just use conditional formatting to style your report card. It makes it easy to identify. And another good part is that after you have styled that range of data, you can then use your style or your format to sort the data. Then once you use your style to sort the data, you see it makes it even more easy to identify. So we can also define our own rules. Say maybe the average of my data point is 50, but the people that usually fail, they fail from, let's say, 35. So you can actually do more rules and specify a particular number and say, okay, people that are below 35, those are the ones that I should color as red. Then people that are above, they are fine. So you can define the condition and formatting option according to your requirements. So you can preview and highlight. So let us go forward. So this is like the basic concept of conditional formatting. And here are some things I'll just want to mention some applications. Some applications you can try out to use conditional formatting because I've said earlier that practicing is what makes you like retain the knowledge. So you can go ahead and practice tasks like to-do list. You can go ahead and practice tasks like project planner. So why I'm mentioning these things is that for to-do list, if you have a list of items, you can have them in one column. You can have percentage done in another column. Then you can have completed, yes or no, in another column. Then you can now have another column and say, oh, this is my format. So for the ones that are above 50%, mark it yellow. For the ones, yes, mark it yellow. For the ones that are done, mark it green. For the ones that are um below 20%, mark it let's say mark it navy, let's say mark it gray color. Then for the ones that are below 20% and are over 2 weeks, mark it red. So yeah, you'll be able to see the items in your to-do list that you have completed, the ones that have taken more than 2 weeks and then you've not really made improvements. So you can always sort it to see, these are the ones that I did and have completed. These are the ones that are needing more of my time. These are the ones that exactly something. So you can just create something like that in Excel just to practice conditional formatting, and then it makes your data. So if time permits us, we can look at something like that. Another thing you can do is project planner. You just have a project, break it down into tasks, then set your start date and your end date. If you have a proposed time you want to finish a task, put it there. Then you can use functions or formula to do okay, ending date minus start date. Then it gives you the number of days that you have. So as the dates continue to increase, you see that you can use conditional formatting to show how many days you have left if you are actually proceeding. So you can have like a two kind of bar, how many days you have left and the level of accomplishment that you have on the task. So it allows you to visualize how you are moving, and it allows other people to understand your progress on the project if they are just looking at the data you've created with Excel. So let us proceed to creating charts in Excel. So I believe I have been able to explain conditional formatting, and if you have any question, you can drop it in the chat. You can just write it down somewhere so that when it's time to ask the question, we are able to handle it. So charts in Excel is a little bit different from, not even a little bit different, it's different from conditional formatting. Yeah, so charts in Excel, chart are used to make graphical representation of any data set with a particular clean and organized data. Excel charts is easy to create. Excel can help us to choose the best chart to represent our data. So there's this thing normally in Microsoft Excel that it recommends charts for us. So based on the data you select, the type of data you select, the input you are giving it. Excel have a way of recommending, okay, this is the chart that is best to describe your data. For example, I'm selecting a date range and I'm also selecting a quantity column, or let's say a numeric column, Excel can suggest a line chart for me. Or let's say I'm comparing between two categorical variables, let's say man and woman. I have two options in my data and I'm selecting that column that has two options. Excel can do an aggregate of count or sum and recommend a pie chart for me. So Excel has that intelligence to recommend charts based on what you have selected. If your data is clean and Excel is able to understand it. So, how do we use charts in Excel? Select the insert tab because yes, you are inserting something new into Excel. So click on recommended charts in the chart group. Explore and choose the one that best represents your data. So Excel will recommend various for you. So you can just explore, click, and look at how data is presented. Then choose the one that best works for you. You can also create a chart using quick analysis tool. So I'll be showing us this quick analysis tool when we are there. So if you select the range of data and Excel is seeing that with this range of data you are seeing, there's a way to quickly visualize it. Excel will suggest a quick analytic tool for you and to quickly help you to summarize the data. So if you want it, you can select yes. If you don't want it, you can just ignore it. So this is what a quick analytic tools look like. So I'm selecting a range of data, everything is percentage, and then I'm stopping here. Excel is telling me that there is a quick action that you can take. That is why you see this here. This particular guy, let me just use my laser pointer to point it out. So here, if I click this, Excel will do a quick analytics for me to tell me, do you want a table? Do you want a pivot table? Do you want a chart? Do you want to do summary statistics and like that? So it can Excel can quickly do some things. So one of the quick things it can do with the quick analytics tool is to present a chart. So after selecting the data range you want to visualize, go to the bottom of it, click the icon that has the thunderbolt to open the quick analysis tool, navigate to the chart tab and select a chart that suits your visualization. So here is something that you should note. Note that when you create a chart design and format tab are created. This allows you to edit your chart and design it the best way. So when we're doing introduction to the interface on the tab group, there is no chart design and format design because we have not created any yet. But as soon as you create a chart, you see a new tab very close to view and then review. I think very close to view. Then you see a chart design, you see a format. If it is a table you created, you see a format table kind of tab at the top. So these things help you to like edit your chart. So let's proceed. So we are moving to the different types of charts that we have in Excel. So just look at them, say a little things about them, and then proceed. Column chart is the first one. A column chart in Excel uses vertical bar to represent categorical data. So column, just like we are familiar with this, one of the common chart type that we see around us. So it uses a vertical bar to represent categorical data. Categorical data in the sense that what belongs to this category does not belong to another category. Like we can separate them by classes. So we have January, February, March, meaning that what belongs to January does not fall into February. Then we have another type of chart. The second one is the line chart. So the line chart depicts data points connected by line segments, ideally for revealing trends or relationship over time. So most of the time, it is always used for a time series kind of data. So we have data points that are connected by time. They can be connected by period. It can be by season. It can be by intervals. Yeah, it can be by numeric interval. So let's say a range of something, you want to visualize it with a line. How has it grown, or how is it increasing? So that is when best for us to use a line chart. So we also have pie charts. So visually depicts proportion of a whole using slice of a circle, ideal for representing categorical data, but it is not ideal when we are using it for more than four slices of that data. So here is the ideal way to use a pie chart. If you have a category that has like three options, you can actually use a pie chart. But when it is getting more than four, don't use a pie chart because it will actually strain whoever is looking at it. And if it is not properly labeled, so it can be a bad pie chart. So use pie chart when you have like, in fact, recommendation as informed us that we should use it for 3 and 2 option category. So let's say we have man and woman, we have another category like say um celestial, terrestrial, and aquatic. You can actually use that kind of pie chart to indicate which percentage is terrestrial, which percentage is celestial, which percentage is aquatic, like that. So we also have bar charts. This is using horizontal bars to represent data. So like the one that you are seeing here, it is using horizontal bar to represent sales made in June, which is the one that falls to my left, which can, yeah, it falls to our left because you're always seeing from the screen. Then the ones that sales that are made in July falls to the right. Another type of chart that we are going to be looking at is the area chart. So area chart is similar to the line chart, except that it takes into consideration the area below the line. So, basically when we say area of a shape or area of an object, we mean like the feel of that shape. If we say, so we can understand it this way, that line charts draw a perimeter, but area chart draws an area. So if we say area of a rectangle, it means that we are actually calculating the fill of that rectangle. But if we say perimeter of a rectangle, we are just calculating the line outside the rectangle. So area chart actually takes into consideration the fill of the line chart. So you just fill it up and then we are looking at the volume, the area. So you used to visualize data trend over time by shading the area beneath the data line of a line chart. Another one is the scatter plot. So this plot a relationship between two numerical variables. We usually call them pairwise data points. So pairwise in the sense that for every x there must be a y. For every um for every for every A, there has to be a B. So, and they have to be of the same data type, which is numerical. So if I have something like 4 here, there has to be another data category that corresponds, that pairs with that 4, so that I can actually plot my points. So we see this mostly when we are doing linear equation, quadratic equation, whereby we have value of x, we can use to find value of y, and they tell us to plot it. So most of the time you do a scatter plot and then you try to fit a straight line into it. So Basically, that is what scatter plot does. Just shows us the distribution of data on a graph. Visually represents relationship between two numerical variables using data points positioned along the horizontal and vertical axis. Another chart type is the histogram. Histogram is very similar to the column chart, except that the histogram does not give space. What the histogram does is it shows the distribution of a data. It shows the distribution of a data. And to show the distribution of a data, the data does not have any gap. The data does not have any gap. So in this case of the picture that I'm showing us, this is not a gap, this is not a space. This is just telling us that when this chart is 60, it records 0. When this value or this indicator is 65, it's also recorded 0. It's not showing us that it does not exist. It does exist, but it recorded 0. So histogram shows a distribution over a particular range or duration or range, because it can actually be from this point, this age range to this age range. This data can be like, oh, for people that are 25-year-old to 75-year-old. So this is the distribution of, let's say, the Bitcoin that they have. So people that are 45-year-old has the highest Bitcoin. So it means that I'm taking into cognizance the range of all the age. So there's no age that is not part of it. So histogram is a bar chart that visualizes frequency distribution of a data within a specific interval. So it does not have space in between it, and that's like the basic difference between histogram and bar chart. So because histogram deals with range, we can always do stuff like cumulative. Remember, column chart is categorical, histogram deals with intervals. So we can always do something like cumulative, we can always do something like upper limit and lower limit and likes. So another type of chart we see here is a tree plot. A tree plot actually visualize data as nested rectangle. So it plots area of a particular category where the size of each rectangle represents the value. So the value of a particular category is plotted as an area in a rectangle. Then it does that for all the category. And then it stacks everything together in a tree plot. Like it stack them together, stack them up together in a bigger rectangle. So it becomes a tree plot. So yeah, I can see the one that has the biggest size. Oh, let's say business comms has big size, but the one that has the least size is definitely BWS. So it just makes data presentation easier to understand. So let's look at some few more charts and then we can proceed. So we have box and whisper plot. So visually summarize data distribution through a box representing the middle quartile and a whisker extending the outliers. So this is just doing like a quartile kind of representation. So this line that falls here always represents the median. This one represents the third quarter, this one represents the first quarter, this represents the minimum and the maximum, then these guys are considered to be outliers. So in essence, it summarizes a data point. So if we have a category that is, or a column that is named Bay Area, and they have different values from ranging from 0 to 2.5 million. So the median amount or the median revenue here is sitting at around 1.15 million. Then the first quartile is sitting around, let's say, 900,000. Then the third quartile, which is like a little above the median, is sitting around 1.4 million. Then we have people that are maximum. We can take the maximum to be 2 million. If you have maximum, and maybe let's say this is the revenue, there are some people that are doing very, very good and they have shoot above threshold. They are considered as outliers. Those are the ones that are doing like 2.8 million and the likes. And then there are also people that are doing zero, which are like the outliers too, because the minimum is considered to be around 300K. So some those people that are doing zero, they are outlier. So let's say this is a plot that EFCC wants to use to investigate some particular region. They know that, oh, here are people that are not, their business is not doing well. Let's visit them and see why they are not doing well, why they are on zero. And these are people that are earning more than what the federation has analyzed to be the maximum. And let's go and look at how are they doing their business? Can they share their plan with us, all those kind of things. So that is what a box and whisker plot does. It just summarizes data and allow us to easily see the ones that are falling between outliers. You can easily just look at this and say medium, first quarter, second quarter, minimum, maximum, and outliers. So another one is the funnel plot. So just like the way box and whisker plot allows us to see values, minimum, the ones that are low, the ones that are high, the ones that are middle. So whisker plots just do like a top to bottom kind of aggregation. So you just say, okay, this sales pipeline, this is a sales pipeline, and then this is a top to bottom down aggregation. So let me say we have this category, and then we have number of people that have registered or people that we are able to reach. Or let me see, people that we are able to reach at this different category. So when we are profiling prospects, let's say we did a campaign and we're able to reach 1,050 people. After doing that, we filtered our campaign and then we realized that out of this 1,350 people, how many people submitted the form? We saw that, people that submitted the form and qualify are 1,180. Then we did needs analysis. Okay, now, how many people actually need this service that we want to provide from people that have submitted the form? Then we realized that some people don't even have time, some people don't even have enough resources to start, and then the number dropped to 840. Then we did price quotes and tell them that, you need to get this, and this before you start. So because of those things, some people left again. So you see, we are doing like a top to bottom kind of people until we're able to close sales with like 260 people. So a progressive narrow shape to depict value across multiple stages of process. And that is where we use a funnel plot. So we have a radar plot. Radar plot combines line charts together with for multiple variables together with what do I so a radar plot is also known as a spider chart. It compares multiple data series through radiating axis and connecting line. So it does for multiple data series, a line chart that is closed for multiple data series across the same point, or let's say across the same timeline, because actually everything must be the same. You see this 0 to 70, it must be the same for all these categories. And that is how we know that, okay, so at this particular point, this guy here is doing, say, 65, while this SP attack here is also doing like 65, while defense is doing like, say, it's doing like 45. So this radar plot is usually used to look at, what do we pay more attention to? If we have like a lot of departments, and okay, let's just use this as, say we are running We are running a company now. We have different departments and we have revenue. And then at the end of the day, we look at the radar plots to see which departments do we need to pay more attention to. And then because of that, so here we can see that, okay, SP attack is doing fine. We can also see that SP defense is doing fine. They are making more revenue. So we look at this. Who are the ones that are doing below 50? We can see that below 50 are speed is below 50, HP is below 50, attack is around 50, defense is also around 50. So we just focus our attention on speed and HP. So we just go to them and ask them the question on why are they not meeting up quotas based on the radar. That is what the radar plot allows us to do. So we also have a bubble chart. The bubble chart combines scatter plots with another numeric variable. So here we can have up to 3-dimension data. So we have X, Y, and then we have Z. Remember, a scatter plot is pairwise. But here we can also add one more, and the one more will be depicted based on the size of the dot. So that is what we mean by bubble plot. So this is scatter plot, which is the in which data points are replaced with bubbles, yes, with the size of each bubble representing another data dimension. That makes it a 3-dimension data. So, okay, yeah, this is not supposed to be here. We treated this yesterday. So basically, those are the types of charts that we are looking at. So we have practical now, chart creation and customization. Okay. Editing and formatting charts in Microsoft Excel. Okay, I want to see this very quickly. Okay, yeah, I think we should just go to chart creation. We should create our chart first. So whatever our chart looks like, we can then come back to editing and formatting charts to make it look more presentable, here. So I would go to the facilitators will help us drop a link to the data sets in the chat now, and we can, yeah, we can get that from. So that link leads to our data set. You can download it and load it into Excel. In a short while, I'll be loading my data, but I want to take 1 minute. So while you download the data, open it in Excel. I'll, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm back. Let me know if you can hear me and let me know if we are still together. Okay, so my Excel is up. I'll just drop the data in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kasme. Thank you, Isaka. Just to ensure that everyone gets the data, because I'm a little bit distant from people that are facilitating it, I'll just drop the data myself too. So let me quickly get the data so that I can drop it and drop the link. Yeah, please confirm if you can use this link to get the data. Okay. Yeah, so I just dropped the data in the chat. So I want to show us something very quickly, how we can get the data. So I want us to download the data, not just open it, because somehow if you open the data, you might end up opening it with Google Sheets. So Sulaiman said it's not working for him, so I'll just quickly do a demo on how to get the data, and we are all going to see this. Okay, let me just share my screen too. Okay, so I'll just go to bit.ly. So that's the name of the platform, bit.ly. You can just type it /AI underscore ed, capital letter ed underscore d3. Yeah, so bit.ly underscore AI underscore ed underscore d3. Okay, some people are complaining about network. I can see that, but if you go to this link, let me drop it again so that you can see. I can also copy this and drop here for us. So you can try this link, or better still, try this AI underscore ED underscore D. So if you click on the link, it bring us here directly. But you see, it's bringing me to Google Sheets. I don't want to use Google Sheet. I want to use Excel. So what I would do is that I've seen that this data is in XLSS, meaning that this data is in Excel format, Microsoft Excel format. So I want to download it in the same Microsoft Excel format. So I'll click on File, I'll go to download, and then I'll click Microsoft Excel. The last time we did something like this, we downloaded CSV, but today we are going to be downloading XLSX. So click download, then it will go to your download and it is downloaded. So you see it as .xlsx. So we come back to our Excel. Yeah. So if you've downloaded that, you can come back to Excel, and then we are trying to load this data now into Excel. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I'm sharing the right screen so that everybody can see. Yes, so coming to Excel now, we want to get data from, now remember we downloaded Excel, so we are not getting from CSV because we downloaded Excel, we are getting from Excel, and then we click. So what I downloaded went to save under, okay, to save under document. Let me find it here. Okay, let me try download. Okay, so this is what I just downloaded today. AI ED3. So if I click it, then I can click import. So from here now, I can see that I have two different sheets. Okay, if you say you can only view it, can't download it, try and click on file, like I have Shogun showing me saying, where are we to download? It's take one directly to the spreadsheet, yes, and then that's how okay, I'll just demo it again because of people. But let me quickly load this into let me load this into my Excel. So I'll load, then it loads into a new sheet for me. And then I go back and get data again. So I'll quickly do another demo of how to download it. And then it's loaded another sheet for me. Okay, so I have this chart and then this dashboard. Okay, so for those of us that are having issue downloading this, so here is a quick run through to download it. So let me come to, if you get to this page, okay, just give me a minute, please. Trying to make sure. Yes. So if you're able to get to this page, I'm sure most of us are able to get to this page. Let me know in the comments if you're able to get to this page. If you're able to get to this page. So Ayuba who says he's not seeing the download option. I just want to know if you're able to get to this page. Yes, thank you. Then if you are here, you see, even myself is showing me view only. I want you to see that it's showing me view only. It's showing me view only here. But if I come to file, if you come to file. So Miriam, are you able to get to this page? If you come to file, you see download. Come to file, you see download. Okay. The link is on the chat. Just try and click the link again. Let me drop the link again so that we. So if you click this link, it should take you to this sheet. So once you're on this sheet, you don't need to be. Okay, let me try something else very quickly. Yes, once you're on this sheet, you don't need to have view only is enough for you to download. Just come to file, click on file, go to download, and click on Microsoft Excel. Click on the link that is in the chat to open this kind of page for you. Right now, there are 44 people on this page and more than that. So just come to this file, click on file, scroll down. You don't even need to scroll. You see download, then click on the first option. The first option. So let me know if you have been able to download it. Let me know if you have been able to download it. You don't need a link to download. Just click this link in this chat. Scroll up. I just dropped the link. Click the link in this chat. And then, so thank you. I've seen that you have been able to download it. So let's go back to Excel and let's load the data in Excel. So do you remember how to load our data into Excel? Click on data, get data, and then from file, click on Excel workbook. So from Excel workbook, you navigate to where your data is. Remember, you are getting Excel workbook. This is the data I just downloaded. Click it. So once you click it, it will load it into the query engine. And once it's loading it into the query engine, you can always click, if it is you click dashboard first. It will load the dashboard for you. Then after that, repeat the same step and click on charts. So you are going to have charts and dashboard. So you are going to have chart and dashboard. Okay, yeah. So very quickly, we want to create different type of charts. So here is our table. We have different text, sentiment, source, date, month, time, user ID, location, and then confidence score. So this is a sentiment analysis data, and this data is like, oh, a product, and people are taking, we are taking people's sentiments of a product. Okay, so based on the text, this is the positive sentiment. I like this product. And then where did the person mention this? This person said this on Twitter. On what date? On the 15th of June. At what time? 9:23. User ID. That's the ID of the user. Where is the user tweeting from? New York. And then what's the confidence score? Like, okay, this person is 0.85% sure that they like the product. Okay, so this is our data. So what we want to do is we want to create charts from this data. Let's go to a new sheet. Just a new sheet. So we are going to be plotting our data on this new sheet. So what do we want to plot? That's one important question that we need to ask ourselves. So we could plot a lot of things, but we are just going to look at the recommended plot and then plot some, recommended chart, just for example first, before we go ahead and plot the main one. So let's come back to dashboard. So let's look at this. Let's look at this sentiment. We have how many entries? We have 75 entries. And then we want to see, okay, what is the percentage that are positive and what is the percentage that are negative? We can just quickly click on positive, go to inserts, and then click recommended charts. So it's suggesting for us that we should use a column, a cluster column, and saying negative and positive. So I can click on this all charts here and say, okay, I want to do a pie chart just to see. So if I click on pie charts, okay, this is not showing properly. This is not showing like I want it to show. Yeah, it's not showing the way I want it to show. So it's not going to plot it the way I want it to plot it. Let me see if I do this and I click on pie charts. It's still not plotting the way I want it to plot. So let's try something else. Uh, okay, I don't want to do a pivot table before I plot. I just want to plot something simple and then okay, let us plot date and then confidence score. Let's plot data and confidence score. So I want to click on this and then click on this. So we have dates and we have confidence score. So let's go to inserts and let's go to recommended charts. You can see that one of the things recommended for us is a line chart, meaning that for different dates, it is plotting the point of the confidence. So here, basically, I can see that the confidence score ranges from there's nothing below 0.5. Everything is above 0.5. And then at different points, there are different at different dates, there are different confidence score. But if we look at this range now, we see that there is a kind of steady constant and slight increase. There is no zigzag movement between this particular date to this particular date. So that is one thing that data visualization can help us to observe. So I don't want to, okay, let me click OK. I can click it and copy it actually. But let me cut it and come and paste it here. And that did not work. So you can click a chart, cut it, Control X, and then come and paste it somewhere around here on another sheet so that you can actually have a good look of what that chart looks like. So we have this. I'm just showing us how to create charts in Excel. So let me look at this data again and see which type of chart I can create with it. So I can actually create location and I make it categorical. I'm looking at the value to plot against the location. Let me see charts first. Okay, let's plot this chart very quickly. This is going to be a very easy chart for us to plot. So come to this chart tab. I want to believe that we're able to load the chart Excel too because we have two sheets in that Excel that we downloaded. We have dashboard and we have charts. So let's come to this chart. This is a chart that's going to be very easy for us to plot, unlike the other one that we are looking at before. So just come here, you can highlight the whole of you can highlight the whole of the table. So we have month. We have income in that month and we have expenditure in that month. So let us just highlight it. Let's highlight everything, click insert, click recommended, and then you see that it's recommended a bar plot for a column chart for us. This is showing us that, oh, this is income and this is expenditure. This is income and this is expenditure. It's also showing us a line chart. Okay, our income came down from in January, we have high income, it came down in February, it went a little bit, it went up in March, it went high in April, it came down in May, went up and then went highest in July. That's income. And then we can see that at every instance of our income, our expenditure did not surpass the income. Like we spend according to what we have. We don't spend more than what we have. So except for the month of February, where the income and the expenditure they met at the same level. And we can also see that if we use the bar, if we use the column chart, you see that they are on the same level in February. But on every other month, the income is always higher than the expenditure. So you can use different types of charts. Look at everything that Excel recommend for us. So we have here saying, oh, this is a Pareto chart plus the distribution of data in descending order of frequency with a cumulative line. Okay, so it's just plotting the data in descending order and trying to draw a cumulative line with the secondary axis. The secondary axis basically the expenditure, and this one is plotting this data in descending order. So in descending order, we see that in February is where we have the lowest income. So this is income and this is expenditure. So you just rearrange the data to plot them in descending order and the likes. So here is a scatter plot that has generalize our income. For every expenditure, there is an income. So you just took income as X and expenditure as Y, and it is trying to plot it as pairwise plot. So this is not going to tell what we want to do with our data. Basically, we can use this and then we can use this. So we are going to be using this. So if you click OK, then we have our chart here. Allow me to cut it again. I want to cut it, Control X, and then paste it in this sheet. So I'm deleting this. So you can see that just with click and click, we can create charts in Excel. That is very easy. Okay, so we have our charts. Okay, let me see if you have been able to do this in the comment section. Let me see if you have been able to do this in this comment section. Okay, somebody say I should explain the Pareto chart. We have two variables in the column that we selected. We have let's go back to the charts. So we have income column and we have expenditure column. So what the Pareto chart just did was that it took the income and it plotted it in a decreasing style, meaning that the one with the highest comes first. It disregard the order of the months. It just plots it in a decreasing style, and then it plots the expenditure in a line chart. It plots the expenditure up on top of it in a line chart.
Hi, how are you guys? Hope everything is fine. Hope you're good.
Yes, sir. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, sorry for that break in or intercession. So we can continue now. So it's nice to see that some of us have been able to get to this level where I am. So we have this. Now, one thing that we want to do is we want to properly style our charts. How do we properly label a chart? How do we properly format a chart? So this chart now is easy for us to say January income, the value. You can see when you hover over it, Excel is so easy that it even makes the data consumption like very easy for us. When you just put your mouse on top of it, it just does, oh, this is income, and the value of your income is 12,000. I mean 120,000. So I want to show us something. If our data is not properly formatted, it will affect our chart. Now let's go back to the chart. Let's add let's add $sign. Let's make this a currency and let's also make this a currency. So if you know how to do that, if you click the two and you click currency, just makes it currency. Now let's go to our chart and see what has happened. See, it has add currency value to it. Yeah, it has add currency value to it. And then when we click this, we see that now it's now showing us proper currency. So that is one thing we can take note of. So here is another thing we can also take note of. Yeah. Okay, apologies. I did not know you cannot hear me. So sorry. So I just went to look at what the chart is supposed to look like so that we can format this chart to exactly what we have the, in the slide so that the explanation can go both ways. I was trying to see if I used a letter K in this axis. So I wanted to know if I wrote 20K or I wrote the value in full. But that's what I wanted to see. So I've seen that I wrote the value in full. So we can just continue. So one best practice is that we can give our chart name. It is very important. Because when you are creating a dashboard, you are going to be having more than one chart. And if you have more than one chart, it is important that all of your charts have names. So let's give this cash flow for 2023 H1, that is first quarter, first half. So let's give this cash flow 2023 first quarter. But we don't really know what is here and what is here. So here we know this place is amount. We need to put amount. And here we need to put amounts. So these guys that you are seeing here, income and expenditure, we call them legend. So I'll be explaining editing a chart as I proceed. So here is one thing that we can do. To add axis label, there are two ways. You see, when you click on the chart, you see this plus icon. It's telling you that you can add chart elements. Example of chart element you can add is title, legend, grid line, table, data label. You can also come here to this upper part. You see, I'm under chart design. So you can come here to this upper part. You click it, you see axis, horizontal and vertical. You see axis title. And this is what I want to add. I want to add axis title. Then the first one I want to add is the primary vertical. You see that's added one for me. So I can also come and say axis title again, horizontal, vertical. It has added another one. But what do I want to call this one? This place is going to be month. What do I want to call this? This place is going to be amount. Okay. So it is important that we know how to create a chart, because when we do analysis in Microsoft Excel, one of the best way to present your analysis after summary table, after pivot table, is also in a chart. So one thing I want to do is that I hover over it to see the price. It is good. So you can either leave it like that, or you write the price on top of it, so that anybody that is coming can actually see that, oh, this long chart for January, how much is it? I don't need to stress myself against this axis value that is here. So let me quickly show us how to do that. If you click on it, it has activated it. You can, because you have activated this chart, you can click this plus sign. But what I want to do is that I want to add chart elements. I want to add chart elements. What do I want to do? I want to add data label, because this is a data label. I want to add it. Where should we add it? We can add it in the center. You can see, you can add it inside at the top. You can add it inside at the bottom. You can add it outside at the top. We can do a data call, but we are not going to do a data call. We add it outside at the top. So if you click this, so it is adding it outside at the top, but then the label is too big. It's bigger than the data. So I want to make it vertical. So yeah, I should explain this format data label table to us. So I'll do that just after this. So if you scroll down, you see text option, line and fill, effect, size and properties. So if I do alignment, I can then test direction. I can then choose vertical. Let's say rotate to 70. Yeah, so this is what I want to do. Okay, I'm going to explain this to us in a while. So let me just make this bigger. Not that. I'm trying to do something here. Uh, I'm trying to increase my chat area so that, yeah, this is what I'm trying to do. So you can actually increase your chat area, clicking and dragging it, just to make your chat look very neat. It is important so that it doesn't look clumsy for whoever is consuming it. I can also copy this. I can drop this here at the bottom corner so that it does not conflict with this. I think this space here is too much. I can actually close this up a bit. So that's doing negative of what I wanted to do. Okay. So this looks better than what we have before. So now I want to show us this again. I want to show us this again, how I added this data label at the top. So click on the data you want. I'm clicking on this expenditure now. Because I've clicked on this expenditure, this data is activated. If you click it double time, it will activate only one. But I don't want to activate only one. I want to activate all of the expenditure. Then I come to chart design. Under chart design, I come to add data elements. In this add data elements, I can actually add any type of element I like. So I'm going to be adding data label, and the data label, I want to add it outside at the top. I click it. So look at this format data series. Under here, this is showing me series options, but I really want alignment and style. So I'll look for it. So because this is series option, if you click this scroll down, this drop down arrow, these are all the things that you are able to style and edit. You can style the chart area, you can do the chart title, you can do the horizontal axis, title, legend, plot area, axis. But what I really want is my data label. So I'm doing data label for expenditure. So you see, when I click label, data label for expenditure, it gave me different set of options. So I want to do size and alignment. So under size and alignment, this option, size and properties rather, I can actually make it 90 degree, 270-degree vertical, and then that is as easy as that. Let's do something. Let's change the color of this guy. So how do we do it? You see, I click this guy again. I want to change the color. So this guy is a data point. So I can do it and say, okay, come to series, income. So I want to change the color. Look at this fill and line. If you click it, click the fill. This is where you can change the color. Under color, you see different types of color. Okay, let's change the color to this. So you see that works. Although personally I use Excel defaults because for you to use like the accurate color, you need like a color template mechanism, or let's say color composition mechanism, which is like extra work. But I use Excel defaults to just it makes the work easier because Excel choose like a balanced color for contrast and saturation. So that is basically that. So you can also edit all these values to, let's say I want to edit this value. I want to remove the decimal point behind each of the points. I can actually do it from the chart. If I come to this chart, I can do it from the chart and remove all the decimal from it and say, okay, I don't want decimal. So here, if I come to my sheet, it doesn't show me decimal again. Also, I can do it from here. I'll just do it. I don't want decimal for the data label, and that will work too. So basically, a this is how to create charts in Excel. So let me come here to insert and show us the different type of. So I want to show us something. I want to show us. Let me see if it will work. So I have a data here for dashboard, and I have location, and I want to plot it. So let me say I have map. Okay, I don't think it will work. So it depends actually. Sorry. Sometimes it works if the location is common, like it's well known, because I've tried something like this before. And sometimes it wants to take a geo series, that is longitude and latitude. But then this map is also used. Hold on, to delete this. So uh, okay. So basically this is what that did for me. So but you can see that it's highlighting. I think it is. So this is this. Um, I'm trying to see. Okay, yeah, you can see that it is outlining the locations that are present. So basically, if I want to insert this map in my chart now, it is this view that you are seeing, and these dots that you are seeing that, let me make it bigger so that you can see it. Now, because Paris is in my data set, it is showing location Paris, but it is too small for me as a point to bring into my map. Yeah, so we can actually do this kind of data visualization in Excel. Suppose my data entry is much, let's say, okay, this is actually what I'm looking for. And I can actually bring this kind of view into my map and say, okay, these are the points where responses came from. It came from this point, San Francisco, it came from this point, Los Angeles, it came from here, it came from. So when you look at these points now, it does a map view. So I'm visualizing the map, the locations in my data. So you can actually do a label kind of stuff to make it bigger, and to like take into consideration the count, how many times this particular place appear in my data set. So that is going to be like stacking it up on top of each other. So this is it. San Francisco appeared 6 times. This one is saying Los Angeles appeared 7 times. This one is saying, so Chicago appeared 5 times. Basically, you can just add a map to your visualization and it makes sense like that. So it makes sense like that. So this is actually, yeah, so that is basically adding a map chart to your Excel. So let's go back to Excel and let's continue because okay, yeah. So let's just go back to Excel and our PowerPoint slide and continue on. Basically, what I've just shown us is just like a little advanced kind of visualization for this particular data. I'm just looking at how to visualize this particular sentiment data, how to visualize this particular sentiment data. But it will need me to aggregate it first before I am able to visualize it. And I'm trying not to do aggregate here so that we all understand what we are doing. But let's just go back to the slide and follow through what is there. So back to this slide now, we have been able to replicate these charts. So let me just explain the different elements of the chart, and then so that once you want to edit your chart, you know what is this particular element called, and you can look for it very easily in your add chart elements column. So basically, somebody is asking, is it qualitative or quantitative? It is quantitative because it's doing counts of places that are in the data sets. So once chart is created, you can change the formats. You have seen me do that, such as the chart area, plots, data series, axis, and legend. So this is This right here is called the chart title. These are the axis value, not the axis label. So this right here axis value, this one is also axis value. Then the axis label is the name of the axis, this and this. Then we also have data label. This is the data series. This line itself is the data series. Then this particular label you give to it is called the data label. It's called data label. The whole of this area is called the plots area, and then this whole area where you see this line are called the plot area, and then including the parts that you see here are called the charts area. So let's move very quickly. So the format chart area that I was trying to explain the other time is here. So based on what you click in these chart options, we determine the options that will come under here. This is a very common practice for Microsoft software. So there are different categories, and each category also have a subcategory. So look at here now, I'm clicking chart option, meaning that anything I edit here is affecting the chart, not the label, not the data, not the series, not the data series. It's affecting maybe the name of the chart, the color of the chart, the height of the chart, and that is. So if you want to drill down into something like data, or let's say axis, yes, axis and data. So you have to click this option and click this option right here and drill down into that. So to edit a chart, go to chart design, select add chart elements. Yeah, you've seen me do that. To modify or create a chart to convey your idea. This enables you to modify the item in your chart as needed. So you've seen me demonstrate change color. The change color to allow you to change color of your data series, and your chart style allows you to change the theme of your chart. So this is the format chart area, and virtually everything about editing and modifying the chart is possible here. It's possible here. What is important for you to know is that whatever option that you are under determines what you can change. So you cannot change the color of your data or of your line chart or the color of your column chart under chart option. You can only do that under data series option. So under that data series option, you find more options like text option. Under text option is where you see this kind of color, color effects, and then size and properties. So let's proceed. So best practices for Excel visualization, the do's and the don'ts. And after this, if there is more time, I'll show us how we can do, if it's a to-do list or if it's a project planner, just using conditional formatting and data visualization. Yes, creating charts. So what are the do's and the don'ts in Microsoft Excel when creating charts? Start the axis at 0. It is very, very important. Otherwise, your viewer might draw an inaccurate conclusion. For example, when I showed us a bar chart. So if you don't start your axis at 0, if you start your axis at 100, look at this, for example. Let's look at these two charts. So I put these two charts here for us to understand. So look at this guy. This guy is starting from 100, while this guy is starting from 0. So this one starting from 100 is telling us that there is no, or okay, yeah, how do I put this to us now? Suppose like a data point falls between this 0 and this 100 and anything that's below it here. That would have made a wrong impression on whatever kind of visualization the person has done. But here is telling me that this is 100 to 150, 150 to 200. So should I say that 0 to 100 is very small, and then 100 to 150 is this big? So that is the idea that some charts might pass, telling us that 0 to 100 is very small, and then 100 to 150 is big. 150 to 200 is also big, 200 to 250, but 0 to 100 is small. But if you start your chart at 0, we all know that everything is even. 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Another one is clearly label your axes and charts. Add measurement units where necessary. So in fact, okay, you want me to if you do sales and sales, but we don't have measurement units, so you are allowing the user to assume that this chart is recorded in Naira, or this chart is recorded in Sefa, or this chart is recorded in dollar. So it is also important that we add units as we also add label axis. Remove distracting chart elements. Example is colored background for a chart. It is not very ideal. Some people just feel like, oh, want to make the chart thematic, we want to make the chart, we want to brand the chart to our organization style. And then they start adding background colors, they start adding background effects, they start adding glow effects, 3D effects. It just makes the chart unreadable because the whole essence of a chart is for a person to be able to understand it between 5 and 30 seconds without too much explanation or walkthrough. Zoom in on the y-axis in your data sets. If your data set starts above 0, meaning that if you zoom in on the y-axis, if your data set starts above 0, for instance, I'm able to know that this chart is a little bit fair because by the time I zoom in into it, I realize that there is no representation of any data under 100. So that is why I said it is a little bit fair. But if there were to be a representation of a data below this 100, then I'll have to zoom in into it and see that it is not because I zoomed out that is making the 0 disappear. So put value label on the bar or chart like we did for our own chart when we created them. Put a value on your chart, except if the chart is this tiny, and then if it is this tiny, allow the user to be able to hover over it and see what the value represents. Use scatter plots when you have a lot of data. When you have a lot of data and they are both numerical, you want to compare it. Don't bother plotting any kind of stress visualization. Just use a scatter plot and then use a regression line to make it to show the correlation if you are doing a comparison. If your data point is much and you are trying to do a comparison between the two data points, just use a scatter plot and use a regression line. A regression line is a straight line that allows you to fit the data wherever you to the best straight line. Be consistent. Keep the pacing of your section even and pick a pleasing color palette. So remember the other time I said I allow Excel to choose color for me because picking a color palette can be a little bit of going outside Excel and looking for what color palette is good to use for your charts. But if you are the type that does not like to move between softwares and screens, you can just use the defaults that Excel has set for you. But if you find it comfortable to pick a color palette, you can even pick a color palette before your visualization and then apply it to your visualization. It makes your work look more professional and more customized. It gives it that you element that you are the one that creates the chart. So these are the do's, what are the don'ts. Now look at this chart and look at this chart. You see that this one is looking like a sedimented data point. Like, okay, just dump it on it because there are too much data points, too much aggregation and summarization. So avoid too many colors. It's not a rainbow picnic. It's not a rainbow party. Don't add rainbow effects. Just 2 color, 3 color. Just use 90-30-10 ratio, 9:3:1 ratio to balance your color scaling in, I say 90. Yeah, 60-30-10 ratio to balance your coloring of any kind of visualization you are doing, use a single color, maximum use three colors. And when you're using three colors, know the ones that are dominant, the ones that are residual, and like that. Don't make viewer do visual math. Like, don't make them do calculations and division after you have plot your map. It defeats the essence of doing the visualization. Again, your user should be able to visualize, I mean, to understand the map within 5 and 30 seconds. So telling them to do more maths, more addition, add this and this to get this value is telling them to do more work, which is defeating the essence of visualization. Don't exclude outliers. Yes. Most of the time, people feel like this particular data point is making my charts too big or too small, then they delete it. It don't exclude outliers. At worst, give an instruction that users zoom out or they zoom in to see the particular data you want them to see. Outliers are data points and they are very far from your data range. They have their own message they are passing, and don't exclude them in your visualization. Don't compare more than 3 lines if you are using a line chart. When it becomes more than 3 lines, it can look like jargon. When a 2-year-old is trying to write, they just draw line all over the place. So if we have more than 5 lines, it start looking like a bad handwriting. Don't compare too many data points. Visualize the data you need to tell your story, nothing more. Nothing more. That is why we have filters and pivot table. Visualize only the data that you need. Don't compare two pie charts side by side. It is bad. A line or area chart is okay. Don't put this pie chart is representing population of man and woman. And you now see this pie chart is representing educated and non-educated. And you are not expecting me to understand the relationship between the man that is educated and the woman that is not educated. It is not possible for me to do. Like, don't compare two pie charts side by side. Use line area. You can say this line of color blue is representing men. This line of color red is representing women. And then the way they move up and down is representing their level of education. So that way I can easily use one single chart to consume two pieces of information than me looking at two. A pie chart just does one thing, and it is not very possible for you to use it for multiple things. It does one thing, it compares between categorical variable, and it does nothing more than that. So avoid using 3D or blow apart effect. I've mentioned this earlier to avoid using 3D or blow apart effect. Just want your chart to look graphic. There's a reason why it is called charts and not graphics. Uh, so that is that for today's class. So let me quickly see if I can do a little bit on conditional formatting in Excel, and then we are going to stop here. So let's go back to our Excel. Yeah, so we are here in Excel and want to look at conditional formatting. So I want to use this confidence score column. First is that I want to know the way, the steepness or the slope or the variance in the confidence score. Is there a jump? Is it decreasing steadily? What is the minimum? What is the maximum? Is there anyone below 0.5? And so I can use conditional formatting for that. So if I select the column, I come home and I see conditional formatting. I can do top to bottom, and I can do So here is what I can do. Let me see more rules. Or let's use data bar. I think data bar is what I'm actually looking for. So let's do solid fill and then let's do this. Yeah, let's do this. So this is telling me that, oh, the highest in this is filling it like a progress bar. Yes, like a progress bar. And I can see those ones that are close to filling up. This is 0.88, 0.92. So one thing I can do is that I can actually sort based on this condition that I have placed on this cell now. So I can do something like this and then come home again and do, I don't know why. So, okay, let me do this. Let's do sort and filter. Custom sort. So, custom sort value by. So the name is confidence, or I want to sort on conditional formatting. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. So I want to sort on conditional formatting. Then order, no cell order. So if I click OK, that did not apply the way I'm expecting it to apply. Okay, yeah, so this just does it for me. So I want to sort from largest to lowest. So you can see what I mean by steepness. I want to see if it is gradually reducing. Then I can see that, okay, there is a gradual form of reduction. It's not as if I have 0.95 and then the next value I have is 0.1, 0.55. No, there's actually a kind of gradual reduction for the sentiment. So it means that if I want to make improvements, I can decide that this is going to be a gradual journey. It is not like everybody hates my product. So I can first focus on this category of people, category of say 0.8 to 0.7, I can focus on them and say, I want to impress them. So knowing fully well that if I impress this category too will automatically be impressed by some number of decimal place. And then like that. So if I focus on this category, I can expect the category that are below them to move a little bit closer to, I mean, a positive sentiment. And then I can, because these guys are almost one, I can just let them continue to enjoy the benefits that they like already and try to impress a class that is. So that is what conditional formatting can do for us. So there is a whole lot of things we can do with conditional formatting. Let me show us something else. So if you come to conditional formatting and you say you want to do a new rule, okay, what is your rule? So here we have different type of rules. So use a formula to determine which cell formats, format only unique or duplicate. So different kind of there are different kind of rules you can just set. I want to try something else. So manage rules, new rule. Okay. I can't scroll down. Okay, 2 colors. Okay, I'm looking for something. I'm trying to use conditional formatting to do a validation rule. Okay, format only cells that contain, so cell value should be, I want to do specific text, I want to do cell value that contains greater than or equal to, then I want to do, let's say 0.1, 0.45. Yeah, greater than 0.45. So format cell values greater than 0.45, then I click OK. So that is I can click apply and then say current selection. So here is it now. So if I have a cell that is, let me change this to 0.35. Okay, that worked. Let me change this to 0.0. I want to see. Okay, that also failed. But I'm trying to set a formatting rule that will not work once the value is less than 0.45. So that can actually be done. I think if I come here, if cell is greater than no format sets, format only cells that contains specific text that contains cell value. Okay. Um, okay, yeah, it's worked now. Yeah, so this is like a validation. So whenever the cell is greater than 0.5, it makes it bold. Whenever the cell is greater than 0.5, it makes it bold. And for the ones that are not greater than 0.5, they are not bold. They are not bold. So that is, there are different ways you can use conditional formatting. So I implore us to put this into practice. You can, like I mentioned earlier, you can try to do a to-do list. You can try to do a project planner or a project track scheduler. Anyhow, if you need more guidance, you can just maybe reach out and I'll explain more on how you can do that, the logic behind that, and how it can work in Excel. So for today, we are going to be ending this class here. We are going to be ending this class here. We are going to be ending this class here. And I want to believe that you have been able to get and gain one or two things. All this knowledge that you have learned today, at the end of this session, you can put it together to create a dashboard. A dashboard is like a consolidated chart to visualize a particular data. So we do different type of charts and bring them together, make it a dashboard such that when you are done, you are going to be proud of what you have done with Microsoft Excel. You know, most people when we mention dashboard, they just think Power BI, but it's also very possible to do dashboard in Excel, and it should be as responsive as any other platform that you use. So thank you very much, guys, and that should be all from me. If you have questions, you can drop it in the chat. If there is time to pick it, I'll be sure to answer, and if it's going to be answered on the Telegram group, I'll be available there. So thank you very much, guys. See you tomorrow.
Okay, please with your favorite emoji, let us appreciate that Twitter. Lamido Shibamu for the job well done. Thank you very much. So Lamide, before you leave, we have some questions here that I would like you to attend to. Okay, so the first question goes thus. Said, my question is, will there be a project? Yes, there will be a project after this section. So each track also, actually have a project. So what influences the type of charts to use for data visualization aside the number of variables? Let me say it again. He said, what influences the type of charts to use for data visualization aside the number of variables? Kindly confirm you can hear me, Olamide, and then answer respond to me.
Okay, thank you very much. So, apart from the size of variable, um, okay, let me come in this approach. There are five V's of data that you are supposed to be aware of. There is variability, there is volume, there is variability, volume. There are five different V's of data that you should know. And all of those five V's, they affect the type of visualization that you choose. Yes, all of those five V's, they affect the type of visualization that you choose. I just can't seem to recollect all of them right now, but I'll just mention one is the data type. One is the data type, and that is the one I mean by variability because data varies. So if you have a data type that is time-based, you need like a line chart to visualize that data. If you need a data that is string-based, yes. So we have variability, the volume, the value of the data. So if you are comparing something like age, then you need a column chart. We also have velocity. There are some data that the way they increase, you can have 100 entries at like in 1 second, 100 entries. So if you are using let's say if you are using a data scatter plot to visualize those kind of data, just know that before the end of the day, that scatter plot will turn to area charts because everywhere will just be dotted. So this understanding the type of your data and understanding the type of your data, the type of your data particularly, and the volume and the way they increase will help you to choose the best visualization that you can use. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Olamide, for responding to that question. There are five V's. And also, you need to also look at the color, the brand color, especially if you're working for an organization. Also, you need to consider the available parts or the tool that you are using, visualization tool that you are using. Also very, very important to monitor to know. Also, the tasks that you are working on. Okay, for example, if you are working on a geospatial project, you know that you need to use map. Are you getting it? You need to use map. You cannot do it in a table. You cannot use a table for it. So these are some features that you need to take into consideration before before determining the charts or the color brand that you're going to be using for your visualization. Okay, so I want to say thank you to everyone for joining to this class. I don't think I have any other question again. So we can continue our conversation on the Telegram group. I've dropped the link to the Telegram group severally, and then we can all access it too. So let's continue our chat, our conversation on the group. So see you tomorrow the same time, 11 to 1 o'clock. So do take care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.